Hey, this is John with thenetguy.com, and as you can see, I'm in my workshop today. Needed the extra space so that I could show you how to assemble a wall mount network cabinet. This is an awesome idea if you have a business and you need to secure your routers, your switches, your other sensitive electronics, or if you're a home user like me but have a lot of equipment that's been stacking up. Great storage solution, and again, gets it off of the ground, gets it in a secure location, and it really centralizes all the incoming wiring in your home. So I'll show you how to assemble it step by step today, and as I'm going, I'm going to talk about the different options, different models that you can get. Stick around. Okay. First thing it says is never use a knife to open. So we're going to use a knife and open the shipping straps. These are very well taped. I'm going to carefully use the box cutter version. To open it up. So let's see what we've got. So lots of very sharp metal panels, as you can tell, all individually wrapped. This is going to be either the top or the bottom based on the knockout here. So this knockout that you can see is where our wires will go through. It's got good ventilation on the sides. I'm hoping that they pack some instructions here for us, or this could get really interesting. And here is another mirror piece. This one's got a fan in it, so that's definitely going to be our top piece. Cardboard filler. Padding. The next ones are all taped together, so this is going to be pretty interesting. We'll use scissors just to be careful. There's the glass piece here and the two side walls. Okay. And my instructions and a hardware kit. So there are the instructions. Set those off to the side and lose them promptly. And then inside, we've got our jingly hardware kit. Oh, very heavy duty. This is one side, and they've got all of the rack rails. I don't know if you can see that. All of the rack rails are mounted to the front of this piece. I'm going to set this down over here. Sliding compound saw will do. This is the double-sided glass front piece. Now the nice thing about this is you can actually move it whichever direction you want this to open, and so being a 9U size, this is a little bit larger than normal. Set this down over here. Get us some space here by moving our extra large box that we don't need now. Okay. We'll reset and make some room here. It looks like our side panels on this model are attached via these two screws here. We are going to relieve them of their screws. This will probably go a lot faster with power equipment, but we're in a wood shop. Who needs that kind of stuff, right? Okay, our pieces should be liberated. Excellent here. Yep. Okay. Now these are the two side panels. The way you can tell is they've got these pins and then they pop in and latch, looks like vertically here. So they pop in and close with the locks. usually upward. We're not going to need those just yet. Put those in a safe spot. And there's the top and the bottom. Let's look at these assembly instructions. So it says here, step 1, fix top cover and bottom. Looks like there's the frame that goes around here, and it's wanting us to put these angle brackets on the frame. So top will be obviously this way. The two side pieces that they gave us over there would go on the sides, or is that the front and the back? Nope. Oh, looks like front and back. Okay. So this is the piece that mounts to the wall, and it slides right in here. So you can see I've taken the liberty of releasing the front frame here. And I'm going to open up our hardware kit. So you guys can see what's in there. Now save this one, because those are going to be for the rack mounted hardware. We're not going to need those yet. You can save the lock hardware, because we're not going to need those. Those are for the locks. And we don't need these cams. Let's see if there's one extra. So these are the cam levers on your locks that slide over and lock them in that go with these guys. I'm going to save them over here. And these are going to be our supports. Hopefully you guys can see those. So those are our supports. So the 8-piece M6 screws fasten the front frame with 4-piece M5 screws, fix 4-piece connecting plate with 8-piece M5 screws. So it looks like we've got these style screws, are very large. Just happens to be 8 of those. And here must be our smaller screws. So my guess is the top and bottom connecting plates, based on these instructions, are the larger of the screws. So the larger screws go in there with the top and bottoms, and the smaller ones go in. So we are going to take some of our if you do have the option to get them fully assembled, that might be your tip. If you're one of those people that likes IKEA furniture assembly, which we lovingly call a marriage test in this house, then you can opt for what I'm doing today, but know that to save a few dollars, you're going to have to play with a lot of this really often very sharp and very poorly instructed hardware. Okay. Rack rails are free. That's those guys right there. So it says to affix the top and bottom like so. Top and bottom. And I'm thinking we're probably better off to do these corner supports. Connecting plate is only for the rear. So these guys connect here to the rear. Okay. This is where if you do this too tight in this cheap metal, you will be very unhappy with the results. I'll just tighten that snug, but don't overdrive it because there's not a lot of metal to bite into here. Assuming those are for rigidity. I'm going to install the ones on the other side next. So these racks come in many, many different sizes. If you go to a data center, your full-size rack is usually a 42U rack, and they can be a Chatsworth style, like a 2-post rack. I'll show you some pictures of those. Or you can get a 42U fully enclosed rack. Some of these things are 6 feet or more deep, depending on the style. And you can have very, very long servers in there, or very short servers sometimes. Okay, so we're going to affix the top plate now to this, which locks in. Front. Perfect. Okay, now it says to affix that with the larger of the bolts. And those larger bolts, interesting, go through the outside. These are an Allen, so they're going to go through the surface here. Okay. These go through like so. There's one. Two. Three. And 4. Okay, these have some pretty aggressive, they're not lock washers, but the nuts have some aggressive pattern on them, so I'm actually able to get pretty good torque on all these, surprisingly, with just that. Okay, after a quick stop to change batteries, we are ready to continue. I've got the top secured, I have the bottom secured by 2 screws, which is all it requires at this point, and now we're going to flip it over to complete the rest of this assembly. So now it's completely upside down. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to use these larger screws through the bottom, larger Allen head bolts I should say, and then the Allen wrench to tighten these down. Like I said earlier, these bolts actually have some pretty good bite to them. So I'm not even having to use a tool to secure the bottom. I'm able to get it to bite just with hand pressure. Those strong, nerdy hands, you know. Probably should have gone into a career in construction if I wanted muscles. Okay. There we go. Again, we're working on this upside down, so we can easily get to it. And as you see on the bottom here, it does have a knockout. Some of the nicer ones actually will have a gasket material that will cover the edges of this so that it's not sharp like it is when you open them up, but it's a knockout just like a regular electrical panel. And there's several in the back and different areas depending on the configuration you want. Okay, so that's assembled. We do need to attach, while it's upside down, these units on the back. These extra pieces of metal appear to give it more rigidity from flexing. If you didn't have these back here, and they're really tiny sheet metal that they're going into, but if you didn't have these back here, it would rack side to side oddly. Okay. Here's the next one. Again, tighten, but don't strip. Tighten. There we go. Very gentle. That's why I'm not using power tools on these. Okay. Put this last one in. Okay, well now we have these rack rails. So these rack mount rails fit on the inside, and they're for you to attach your equipment to. It looks like they're universal so that they fit the same direction, both front and rear. I just want to see on this kit how the attachment points work. It looks like there's 2 points, top and bottom. We'll just concur. That concurs with the diagram here. So these things will be, 16 inches deep or more, but you don't actually get that full usable amount because, as you can see, the rails start a little bit back here. These are the side mounts to our rack mount. This is going to be great for any network mounting equipment. Basically 19 inches is the standard here for most electronic rack mounts. There is a higher 20, I think it's 23-inch rack mount you can get. Okay. Okay. Okay, now it's time to install these locks. I was going to show you guys that there are two shorter locks and one longer one. There are two longer cams and one shorter one. Now my guess, without looking at the instructions, is that the sides are going to use these smaller style. Now on the end they have Phillips, which you can use to mount. And there they go, they fit one way. I'm going to use the retaining nut on the back. I'll turn it so you can see it. So I'm using the retaining nut on the back. I want to tighten it in a way that the key turning will latch it closed. Now you can use a pair of pliers for this step. Kind of secure this down. Now remember, there's going to be fans and lots of vibration in here, so it's going to be susceptible to this. So the longer cam, we're going to want to angle it so that it locks in the upward position, and this is also angled, beveled a little bit to push tighter when it's closed. So I'm going to see if I can get it to go on to the end that way. Take that lock washer and nut. Again, these locks are not the highest security ones. It really is more of a deterrent effect, if anything, because it's a locked item and people know that they're not supposed to be in it. And that's not going to rattle a lot. Yes, it is. Believe you me. Okay. Again, the way I did that, took the smaller of them, slid it through, grabbed the retaining nut, put it on the end. Using the key as my guide, and I'm going to tighten down the retaining nut so you can see here. And then we're indexed, so let's take out that little Phillips, the angled side inward because we want it to tighten and slide together as it tightens. Now we don't want to do what I just did there, except we do. So we want to find that in the closed position it's up, in the open position it's 90 degrees down. I can go put that one in over here. Fits as well as everything else so far on this case. Not bad. Now I know I'm going to go through the top for my knockout, so I'm just going to use something small to help wedge it. And then access it with a pair of pliers, because I want to have this knockout ready. Sorry you can't see this, but I can talk you through. I'm bending this piece of cheap metal out of the top area. There's one. So I've got the two sides, and now I'm going to show you a unique thing about the front. So the front can fit either direction, and I'm going to show you how to put the lock through. So lock cylinder goes in. Front lock is a little bit fancier, it looks like. It's got a brass screw on it. And then we're going to put the retaining nut on first before you do anything else. You want to set this up so that people can't just apply a lot of pressure to your lock and cylinder to move it. There we go. Okay, now that I got that aligned, I'm going to pull this out here, and this one is slightly different than the rest. So this one will key in a downward angle, and it has 8 positions on the key, so we're going to want to lock it there, and then I'm going to, with my other hand here, start the screw that needs to go in. So that's the closed and latched position, which I believe is what we're going to want it. But the good news is it's really, really easy to switch, thank goodness. So in this, there's one pin you can hear there that's spring loaded, and there's one pin that's static. So depending on how you want this to go, I'll walk around to do this. You can this screw in, slide up with the door, and now it's latched, now it's locked. And there you have a completed cabinet. And with this other side closed, it will be secured. Excellent. Only one extra screw. So this has been a little more challenging than many other ones, but we've got it correctly installed now, and the locks and latches are working. You can see there we have room for 9 U's of usable rack space. We've got a secure cabinet that we can access on 3 sides. We can close and latch it with secure locks. And to keep our equipment cool, it comes with one included 120 volt fan, which we're going to test out now. Sounds like it's working. So that concludes the build of the 9U network wall mount cabinet. We're going to go in the next phase and fill this thing up with networking equipment and mount it to the wall. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of my video. If you liked what you saw here, do me a solid, hit the like button down below. If you really want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, And if you want YouTube to actually let you know they're there, hit the bell. Thanks again, and check out links to these other videos you might like.